Welcome to GoneDrivin. For this week's video, I have my hands on a 2022 Cadillac CT4-V, which happens to be a very fun car. We're going to be going over the exterior, the interior, and then going for a drive. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and of course, don't forget to like the video. So the Cadillac CT4 comes in three different trims. You've got a CT4 base model, a CT4-V, which is what I have for this week, and then a CT4-V Blackwing, which is the fastest, highest performing sedan in the CT4 lineup. There's also a bigger version of this, and that's the CT5. And there's also a CT5-V Blackwing, which is a sedan that gets the C8 engine inside of it. So yeah, a sedan gets the Corvette engine, pretty insane. Now I know it might be a little confusing to understand these lineups or trims, so I'll put a reference for, let's say, the BMW or the Mercedes. For BMW, it would be an equivalent to a 3 Series base, an M340i, which would be this one right here comparable to, and then a M3. Or for Mercedes, it would be a C300 as a CT4, C43 would be my tester here, and a C43 would be the CT4-V Blackwing. The front end of the CT4 is quite aggressive and it's very sporty, I gotta say, especially with this mesh grille here that we have on the top and bottom. Both are exposed, fully exposed, so you can see the intercooler right behind them, which is a very nice, sporty, unique thing to the front. You've also got a Cadillac logo here, a big one, and you've also got the waterfall lights, which is very unique to a lot of the Cadillac cars. You've also got intakes on either side of the bumper. Unfortunately, they are not purposeful, they have no use for it, which sucks a little bit, but it is the way it is. And also, just overall, I love how the front end looks. Under the hood of the Cadillac CT4-V, this is where the heart and the soul of the car sits. You've got a 2.7 liter turbo 4-cylinder engine that produces 325 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. So it's quick, and we're gonna see that when we go for a drive because it definitely puts a smile to your face, and I love the engine in this car. You've also got a V logo right over here under the hood, just imprinted, just to remind you that this is not a regular CT4, it's a CT4-V. From the side, the CT4-V looks very nice. I love the aggressive body lining and the sporty styling of this car. You've also got this beautiful paint, the blaze orange metallic, and looks stunning in this color. So if you're to spec out a CT4-V, definitely do it in this color, maybe the blue, but I definitely recommend the orange because it's my favorite. You've also got the black styling all around the car, and that's part of the Onyx black metallic package. You've got the black in the front, you've got gloss black 18-inch wheels, black mirror caps, and overall I think it contrasts really well with the orange, so definitely get the blaze orange metallic paint. You've also got the V logo right over here by the door, just to remind you and other drivers that this is a V model, not just a regular CT4. And also, I love how the window trim of this car is fully black, which looks very nice, and trust me when I tell you, it's got a presence on the road, and I love that. The rear taillights of the CT4 also look really nice. It's got the same waterfall design language that we saw in the front, also in the back. We'll put a clip of how they look at night, but again, no complaints with the taillights whatsoever. You've also got 4 exhaust outlets. Unfortunately, not all of them have an exhaust behind them. Bit deceptive from Cadillac, but it is what it is. I'll allow it because of the way the car sounds. You've got 2 exhausts for the entire car. Just the 4 outlets though. It is what it is. You've also got a diffuser right by the exhaust here, but we'll put a clip of how the exhaust sounds because I think that just outdoes everything else or any other airs with the car. Now let's check out the trunk of the CT4-V. So there is no power liftgate or any sort of power trunk, which is okay though. You've got a hydraulic system here that opens the tailgate for you. It's not the worst case scenario. As for the trunk space, you do have about 303 liters of space. So not the biggest, but again, it is a sedan, so you get what you get. But I think overall, it's pretty practical, good for your groceries, a couple of bags, and that's about it. But I think now it's time to check out the interior of the car. Alright, so currently sitting in the inside of the CT4-V, and I gotta say, it is a pretty similar GM interior, except for the gauge cluster, which we'll get into in a moment. I gotta say, this interior reminds me a lot of the other Cadillac products, and I think that's just Cadillac being in line and being in symmetry with all the other products. It reminds me of the XT4 that I had a couple of months ago. If you haven't watched the video, please be sure to go do that. But you see the volume knob here, the control knob, it's all basically the same as the XT4, as well as the Climate. You've got the same 8-inch diagonal touchscreen that we had in the Buick last week, and you see that in a lot of other GM products. Same interface, nothing really changes, but it does change in the gauge cluster. So the gauge cluster in the Cadillac CT4-V is fully digital. You've got a 12-inch diagonal screen, which looks very nice. It's very configurable and extremely configurable, I mean. You've got a lot of different options, settings you can go through. There's different modes in this car as well. You've got a sport, track, that's right, a track mode. And when you put it into track mode, we'll show you a clip of how it looks, but it's very nice. Accompanied with the heads-up display that we have. I know Cadillac and GM in general has been killing it with the heads-up display, and this has the exact same technology, so no complaints whatsoever with the heads-up display, especially when you put it in track mode. You get your shift lights in the heads-up display. Can't go wrong with that. That's just awesome. And as for the steering wheel in the CT4-V, it's nothing less than what I'd expected. It is a very performance-oriented steering wheel. You've got paddle shifters, which are really, really awesome, very responsive. Again, as part of this performance sedan, you expect paddle shifters to be very good, and they are. You've also got just overall feel of the steering wheel just feels very premium, but also sporty. And I love how configurable the steering wheel can be based on the modes that you put it into. So if you want to go into the V mode, which there's a button for right here, it's basically your personal customization mode for all the different things in the car, all the different settings. So you can change your exhaust, your steering feel, your brake feel, your engine sound, whatever else you might want, which is really, really cool. And it all can be activated with the touch of a button right here. Although I do have one complaint. I really wish, especially at nighttime, that this button would glow or had some sort of lighting effect to it, because at night, it doesn't really flash as much. And I think just adding that small little touch to this car would just be awesome. You've also got black leather seats with the orange stitching, which looks just phenomenal, especially with the exterior color of the car. You've also got the same wireless car charging that you see in a lot of other GM products. You've got ventilated seats and heated seats. You've also got a sunroof. You got to open it manually, the shade at least for it. You've got a little armrest as well as a little slide out compartment for your phone, and that's about it. We've also got a premium Bose audio system in this car as an optional feature. I definitely recommend getting it. It sounds just as good as any other Bose audio systems. You've also got carbon fiber around the cup holders. Very nice. You've got two cup holders here. They're not heated or cooled. I don't really expect them to be. You've also got the same exact gear shifter as some of the other Cadillac products. Same exact entertainment and volume knobs. Again, pretty much taken from other cars. Same climate control. And then you've got your little controls for your modes. So there's sport, track, tour, which is basically the comfort equivalent. You've also got a snow and ice mode, which is very nice. And again, overall, it's a very easy mode to use. You've also got your auto hold. I know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Cadillac CT4-V has auto hold. I know I've reviewed a lot of other GM products and they don't have auto hold. I also know that's in part to blame with the supply chain issue that's going on, but I'm very, very glad this one has it. It's really nice to use and it's very convenient. I think that's enough chit chat about the exterior and the interior. I think it's time that we take the CT4-V out for a spin and a drive, because let me tell you, it is one of the most fun cars I've had to drive so far. Alright, so currently behind the wheel of the CT4-V, and I gotta tell you guys, it is one of the most fun cars I've driven. If I haven't said it already once, I'll say it again. It is probably one of the best press cars I've received thus far. So we're currently in V mode, which is the customizable mode that Cadillac offers in the CT4 as well as the CT5. Essentially, you can tune it to however way you want it. I have it tuned up basically to the max, and we're gonna just floor it here a little bit off a rolling start. Yeah, it sounds pretty good, and I love that. I love those noises. None of it is pumped in, which is really, really awesome. Okay, so now back in the comfort mode, or the tour mode as Cadillac calls it. When you put the car into tour mode, essentially everything is toned down. Your engine shifts, your engine sound, as well as your braking, everything is basically brought down to a comfort level. There's no EcoPro in this car. If you're thinking about fuel economy, stop thinking right now, because there is none. You're getting about 10.6 liters, about 11 liters per 100 kilometers of range. It definitely takes up fuel. And again, depending on how you drive, if you do a lot of spirited driving, you're probably going to be a lot higher than that. But I think that's just the price you pay for a fun car like this. And as for the handling of the CT4 goes, it is very sharp, very, very tight, especially with the all-wheel drive. I haven't driven the rear-wheel drive variant of this car, but I do see the all-wheel drive very grippy. It's very sharp in corners, and I have a lot of confidence taking almost every sharp turn. All right, so we're gonna launch control the CT4-V now. It was really weird that Cadillac actually hid the launch control, but we were able to find it anyways. So let's go ahead and do it now. So foot on the brake, and off we go. It's definitely very quick, and I gotta say, it definitely puts a smile on your face. And as far as the gauge cluster goes, I did show you guys a little bit earlier on, but it is very configurable, very customizable, and that impressed me about this car quite a bit. I know the Cadillac Escalade has, a very nice gauge and with the full digital screens and everything, but I didn't expect it to see it in a sedan, especially an entry-level sedan like the CT4. So definitely very, very nice. You can configure it to whatever you like, which is really awesome. I do wish, and it's a little bit unfortunate, that you can't have navigation commands into the gauge cluster like a lot of other cars, especially Audis have it now, Mercedes does it now, BMW does it as well. Unfortunately, this one, it does say there is a navigation section or navigation column for it, but when you turn on navigation, it doesn't really do much. It just gives you the direction you're heading, so north, south, west, but there's no actual map or anything, which would be kind of cool if Cadillac could incorporate that. I know the Escalade does have it though. We're gonna put the car back in V mode just to show some spirited driving and have a little bit of fun with the CT4-V. And also we're gonna put it in manual mode just so you really hear the crackles. Every corner I take, it grips on so well, especially the rear tires. I feel like I do not lose any confidence whatsoever. So we're gonna take this corner here, and just phenomenal. The way it takes on these corners, I have full confidence. And also, in terms of suspension of the CT4-V, there is something called magnetic ride control, which basically Cadillac says is that it monitors the road 1,000 times per second. Yeah, that's right, 1,000 times per second, to ensure that there is a comfortable ride, but also a very sporty ride, all combined in depending on where you're driving or how you're driving. But with this car specifically, I do know that the magnetic ride control was removed to add the performance suspension. So this car is a lot more stiff. I gotta say, if you want something that's comfortable, probably go for the CT4. The CT4-V is very stiff. You feel a lot of the potholes and bumps on the road. So, you know, for daily driving, it does get a little bit annoying, especially because this car is a little bit lower, I feel like, than again the regular CT4. And it's probably part in part to make sure, you know, there's maximum performance achieved. But, you know, again, you know, it's not the most comfortable. Now, I know Cadillac is really trying to compete and penetrate the market with the German performance sedans. So we've got the M340i, the C43s, and I think Cadillac's done a pretty good job trying to compete with them, because, you know, this produces roughly the same numbers on paper. The 0 to 100 is about 4.9 seconds. It is an all-wheel drive, but the edge that I'll give to this car is that it's got rear-wheel drive and a manual transmission, both of which are not offered in either the M Performance or the Mercedes or even the Audis, which is a little bit disappointing, especially for driving enthusiasts, but with the Cadillac you have that. And with that, my review on the 2022 CT4-V comes to an end. If you like what you saw and if you like how the car drives, make sure to subscribe to the channel for many more car reviews. I'll see you guys next time with a brand new video.